Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. Yeah.
We will wait another 3 minutes, and after 3 minutes we will start.
Okay.
Okay.
Ma'am, have you got the access of presenter? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Have you got the access of presenter?
Yes.
Yeah,
I got,
okay.
sir.
Yeah.
I'll click.
Yeah. Okay.
It's 1 o'clock.
Ma'am, participants are joining. Should we start? Number has gone
As
up
you
to
said.
70. Number has gone up to 70.
Should we wait for 2 minutes more?
Yeah, no issues. No issues.
Because we are I want to first show this demo, no?
Yeah. Okay.
So I've also displayed the books here. So participants, those who arrived, can just take the note of the books. These are not the only books. There are wide range of books here. Based upon, again, which classifier you are going to use. There are separate books on neural network, separate on deep learning. Keep a pen and notebook with you, those who are joined, because now this is just not much presentation will be there, but more solving will be there. Should we start then?
Yes, ma'am. Number has gone up to 87. So probably people will join.
Okay,
We can start. Yeah.
Again, please enable the chat box, because now I'll require more, because we are solving again. Okay.
Hello. Can you just check it is enabled for you? Whether it is enabled for you?
I'll check, sir.
Yeah.
No, sir, I cannot see any chats.
One right hand side. There is a chat.
Chat is written. Their workshop name is written, sir.
No, you can click on that arrow on chat.
1 minute.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it working?
No more.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You might have got the request for being organizer, I guess.
Now I can see the chat box, sir.
Yeah.
So there is one question: what should be the start point for someone learning AI from zero with no background at all? You can start with AI book, or you can start with machine learning book, anything. You understand the things first. If you want to do programming, then start learning MATLAB or Python, and then you can club together. Then you can learn programming, AI or machine learning in Python or in MATLAB. That way you can do. First learn the fundamentals of the subjects, and then go for programming. Books I have displayed here. Sir, my screen is visible, no?
Yeah, yes.
These are some books. And mainly if you attend such type of workshops and all, that will be more helpful to you. Okay. So, sir, you can see my this GUI, no, sir? GUI.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So fine then. We'll start then. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the second session now. And I'm a very rude professor actually. 20 years I have worked as a professor. Na? So now I'll make sure that no one will sleep. So that's why we
That's the biggest challenge.
so that's why we are going to take numericals here. And
Great.
I hope that you will not get bored or irritated, because if few participants are not very much comfortable, you can say, still let's do, because we should always break our resistance, and that is the point where we learn actually. So here there is the GUI, as I told you in the morning, that I'll show you one demo. A small demo, it is not a very great thing, but indicates how the things work. This is used for recognizing numbers. So here, this is a GUI. So whenever you make any project, all the students who are here, always do a GUI. This is very simple. You can say simpler GUI, because we didn't wanted more things to do, just for understanding's sake. So now I'll select an image here. You can see there are two folders here. Even if you cannot see, I'm reading out. There are two folders here, training database and testing database. I'll just open you one database in training database and show you. So since it is a supervised learning technique which is applied here using neural network. So initially we know that what is the input and what is the output. So all the folders are renamed with the numbers here, 0, 1, 2, 3, for understanding of the programmer. So when I click the 0 folder, all the images having the 0 number are there. Okay. So actually that will get opened here probably. Okay. So this is 0. I don't want to check it for testing. It gave you the 0 output. It will definitely give you correct output because it is from training database. So if you see here, I'll show you. So all these are so many images only of 0. Okay. So these are totally 50 images per number. Like suppose if we go to 1 again. Now these are all not 50. These are how many? Yeah, 1 to 50. Correct. So what we have done now in folder 1, all the numbers which are 1 are stored like that. So 10 folders are there corresponding to 10 numbers. So initially we have this information. Our knowledge is there that this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, right? That's why it is supervised. If we beforehand we did not have that knowledge, we cannot do this bifurcation. Then we have to go for unsupervised learning. Then this was the training folder. This is the training database, testing database. Again in testing, we have 15 images here, which we have used for testing. So all this. So in the folder, 5 folder, images with 5 are there. So what I'll do now, from the testing folder, I'll choose any one. I'll pick up any number, and here the number is, that means it is showing the recognized result. So see, I give 5 and the result is 5. I'll choose one more from the testing database. Suppose I'll choose 9 then. Anything we can choose. It might give misclassification result also. Here it is again giving correct result. The recognition accuracy of this project is not 100%. It is little less. I think it is 99 point something. Now I applied 2. Okay. So just see. So this is how input is applied, which is a scanned image of a number, not even pre-processed. You can see here noise is there, blurring is there. Internally, all pre-processing is done. Feature extraction is done. Training is already done and kept. Those parameters are just pulled up for testing, and testing is done. So all these things are, and after whatever result of output is obtained, from that we have to go back and choose this number and display here. Okay, we should also understand that this output of neural network corresponds to actually which number. So all that is done and displayed. Okay, so this way how just I can show project which you are doing. This is just for guideline. On similar lines, you can implement it. Now let us go back to our presentations. Yeah. So now in this session, we are going to study case study in power systems. So once again, I thank KK Wag Institute, Electrical Department, and Ganesh sir and Omkar sir for this second session also. So what are the contents here? We are going to study nearest neighbor classifier, K nearest neighbor classifier. We'll study a case study in power management system. Remember, I'm not expert of electrical engineering, but when I was preparing my slides for your workshop, I have gone through a lot of material and literature within 4 days, Omkar sir knows. And then I found some application which will be relevant to you. Otherwise, you won't relate, isn't it? If I keep on showing you image processing projects, you will not relate to that. So I have chosen a project. I also saw many papers, and then finally I came up with one application for power management. Then we'll see the issues related to classifiers. Let's again just come back to this, revisit this figure. So we have machine learning divided into supervised and unsupervised learning. Supervised divided into classification and regression. Classification divided into following. And we are going up to last. Nearest neighbor, K nearest neighbor. Yeah, this NN and this N is different. N is neural network, you can say, and this is K nearest neighborhood. So now we are going to switching to K nearest neighbor. So I just have put this figure once again to understand that exactly where we are and what we are implementing. And for what we are implementing, that also we'll see. Once again, revision of the supervised machine learnings, so that we are going to implement this on pen and paper. Next time we will implement in programming also. So training samples, data preparation, feature extraction, apply to learning algorithm in learning phase, and in testing, the testing samples are given to classifier and we'll take the decision. Okay. So here the decision blocks are there. Many decisions can be taken based upon your applications. I have again revised that figure further. Wait. So what is nearest neighbor classifier? Simplest classifier you can say. The name itself indicates nearest neighbor. Who is our nearest neighbor? Choose that one. That is the simple meaning. It is a supervised type of classifier. Just now we saw in the block diagram. It is supervised type of classifier. It is also non-parametric. The decision boundary is constructed directly based upon the training data. Classifier is based upon nearest neighbor. And how we are doing that? We are doing the classification based upon calculating the distance. Now, such type of equations you will find in the books. Don't be afraid of these equations. They are very simple once you understand. So here, what does it tell? Distance between P. Okay, distance between P and the data set is, or distance between the sample and the P which you are considering should be minimum. Okay, I over here is 1 to n and P is the test sample. So X of I indicates all the database, P indicates the test sample which we want to classify. Don't worry if you have not understood anything of this. That's why we are here to solve the problem. I just, if I cover 10 classifiers like this with this slide, probably you will not understand anything. That's why we are going to problem. After solving the problem, everything from this slide will be clear to you. So here, what is the main essence of this classifier? We are finding out the distance and the minimum distance between the test sample and the database, or the testing database or test samples, gives you to which class that particular P sample belongs to. Okay, everything will be clear further. So to consider nearest neighbor example, what we have considered one problem statement. What is that problem statement? Demand analysis of energy consumption using K nearest neighbors for residential societies in Nashik. Okay, so suppose you have to plan the energy consumption in Nashik, and suppose there is summer and there is lot of power breakdowns, you know. So initially you need to do planning that which area needs more power, which less requires less and all. So suppose Nashik is divided into various zones based upon that. You require information from suppose societies. Okay, and you find out a particular society given in hand. Then you will find out, you will classify whether this society belongs to low power consumption class, medium power consumption class, or high power consumption class. Okay, that is the thing which you have to do. I hope you are understanding what is the problem statement. Okay, if you are understanding, you can just put in the chat box yes, otherwise I'll again tell. So given a society, initially the system is trained. Now given a society, you have to find out, okay, thank you. You have to find out what type of society it is, because I am not, as I told you, expert of electrical engineering, I am not good at that. So we have considered an example here where there are 18 training samples. Okay, how many classes are there here now? How many classes are there? 3 classes are there, correct. 3 classes best, which are those? Low power, medium power, high power, correct. So when we go for supervised learning, you know that we should initially have the tricks or the database, and how it is supervised. That means initially you have, yes, initially you have the information about input and output. And then you have a new sample here, P, and you find out which society. P is 4-3, that also I'll tell you, don't worry. Now, what is the need for power system management? So, as we know, modern power management is to be handled efficiently. It is a challenging task. Analysis of energy requirements for residential societies is needed before planning. Differentiating societies as per the energy requirement can enable the energy suppliers to plan it efficiently, and it is also helpful for predicting and deciding the prices or predicting the future energy requirements also based upon whatever initial information is there in hand. So probably you are familiar with all these things. Yes. So now these things we'll be doing. The classifier should take the decision whether the input sample, test sample given is low power, medium power, or high power consumption society. All these steps you have to do one by one. Now, what is the methodology? So this block diagram showed you the methodology. More details are given here. First, we should have the samples for training. So you can get the energy consumed by the appliances in the houses in the society per hour. So now it depends upon how you are collecting the data. I am not very sure about how the data is collected. Like as I told you, in my case where I worked on handwriting recognition, my data was collected by using a flatbed scanner, by collecting the database from n number of writers. Okay, n number of writers. So they will write on pages. They will use different pages, different pens with different colors, and all those were used for database creation initially. So you have also to collect the database where you will get the information about the energy consumed by the various appliances in every apartment in the societies. Again, you have to do data preparation. So in data preparation, maybe you need to find out that certain appliances are not used in all houses. So you have to make that proper preparation of the data. Okay, make it even for all the societies. It should not be unequal. Then feature extraction. So you need to collect the, to practice purpose, are there ready-made databases available? Yes, there are ready-made databases available. Even for this application, I think there is database available in Python. You please check out. So when I was searching something regarding this, I got it. So check the feature, apply whole as it is, 24 hours data or weekly data of the society, of all the apartments, is a very huge data. In a society, there can be 100,000 buildings also. So you cannot apply the data as it is. You have to extract the features from that data. So for example, you are extracting some statistical features. Like suppose you are extracting the mean, median, kurtosis, that way. Extracting the statistical features, and then you are applying to the learning algorithm. So in the next step, we will be using first nearest neighbor and then k nearest neighbor. When you are using this, whatever is the database available, you can do 70-30 split as we discussed, or 60-40 or 80-20, or do all one by one if you're doing your project, and then check that which combination is giving you best results. And you can decide. This is called as validation. And then apply the test sample for the classification decision. And then do performance evaluation. We saw in the previous lecture, we have to do performance evaluation, find out how much is the accuracy of your system, with what combination 70-30, 80-20, 60-40 the accuracy is more, or whether nearest neighbor is giving more accuracy or accuracy. So all that you can do, you can apply many features and get the output for same classifier, or you can apply one feature and analyze the result for different classifiers, or you can use many class features as well as many classifiers and come to that optimum point where you can say that yes, this feature extraction technique and this classification technique is giving me best results. With various combinations. Before implementing the system, you cannot say, in this case, in ML projects, before implementing the system, you cannot say that, yes, this feature extraction technique will work best or this classifier will work best. Yeah, some knowledge, initial knowledge will definitely help to shortlist what you will be using. Okay, but you cannot 100% ensure that for a given project, this will work optimum. Maybe 2-3 combinations you have to do change and check out to get the best results. Then, so this is the problem. Now I wish that all my student participants here and those who are pursuing ME, PhD, MTech should take pen, paper and write it down. Okay. So first thing, what we have in hand is this data. Now I'll explain you what is this. Okay. So here we can see x1, x2, x3, x4, x5. In the equation we had x of I. So these are x of I. Okay. Now suppose we have extracted the features. Here we are showing only 2 features. I cannot show more because if there are more features, I cannot show you here in the slides or you cannot compute. Okay. Even if it is less here, same principle applies to more features. Whatever is applicable for 2 features is applicable for 10 features. If there are 2 features, I can draw the scatter plot in 2 dimensions. Okay, I can draw it, I can show you. You can also understand, you can draw. But if there are 10 features, I cannot show some figure which is in 10 dimensions. We cannot imagine also. At the most, we can imagine 3 dimension, 4 dimension maybe. We cannot imagine 20 dimension, 64 dimensions, isn't it? It is difficult. So a simple example is taken here to understand the previous equation, which looks so complicated. But to understand how this is simple, we are taking this example. So what is X1? X1 is the sample in the training set. This is training set. X1 is the sample in the training set. it is having two features, F1 and F2. So this 1.8 is F1, this 1.8 is F2. Okay, and this one is nothing but the class information. Okay, this is class 1, first class, second class, and third class. Okay, what is and when we are taking the decision, we can name them class 0. It is not compulsory. You can call here class 1, class 2, class 3 also. Okay, it is not compulsory. You can keep this third number and this number same also. So this class 1 is low power consumption society. So these are all this is called as the database. As we saw in the morning example, we had 3 celebrities there and we had samples there per class. Okay, you remember. Same thing is here. Just we have changed the application. So these are various samples. 5 samples are there for class 0 or class 1, you can say, if you are using this terminology. Then 6 to 11, 6 samples are there for next class, medium power consumption society, and 7 samples are there for the third class, okay, which is high power consumption society. Why it is called as supervised? See, in all the samples, we have 2 features and the class information. Okay, we have 2 features and the class information, which is input, which is output. So we have input information here. These 2 values give you input information here. This value gives you the output information here. We have knowledge of input and output. All these samples are the training samples. So this is the training database. That's why it is supervised. Okay, I hope you are understanding. Now what we are going to do? So at least you understood there are 18 samples and these are the features. So directly where we have jumped? We have jumped to that point where we have extracted the feature. That means let us imagine that we have the data of 18 hours. Okay, since 18 samples are there, or you can consider we have data of 18 societies. That also you can say. Let us consider societies. So this is the data of 18 societies. And these 2 other features. Suppose it is me and kurtosis, for example. Any feature you can you know better than me. Okay. So 2 features and the class information. Is it clear? Input and output information is available. With this information, what we have to do? We have train our algorithm because it is supervised method. Before training, before that, what we have to do? We let us draw the scatter plot. So all of you using your pen and your book, if you have written all this, you have to draw the scatter plot. Roughly you can draw. What if the value is exactly midway? Value between x5 and x6. It can be anything. See, this is training data. Training data. During testing, then we have to see whether that belongs to class 1 or class 2 or class 3. Okay. Whatever it is beforehand data, we cannot manipulate it. As it is, we have to use for training. And if it is more overlapping, that it's linear. That itself is a non-linear system, no? Non-linear project. If it was so separate, then we need not require machine learning. Remember, many times I have seen that projects are so simple and they go on searching machine learning examples. For example, suppose you have to classify between square, triangle, and a circle. Okay, suppose a robot is there and you are designing a robot for picking and placing. Okay, not actual robot, just let us consider a software. So you can just classify between these 3 objects using the features. You can use square, triangle, and rectangle. Sorry, square, triangle, and circle. How you can classify them? Which features you can use? Not implementation point of thing I'm not asking, just simple knowledge. Square, triangle, and circle. Yeah, shape, sides. Yeah, sides we can take, vertices we can take. So suppose these two features we took. For example, see here there are two features. Similarly, here we took sides and vertices. In all the three cases, they are so different. It will not, there is no chance of misclassification at all, isn't it? Then why to go for machine learning? Simple if then if else rule is also sufficient. But suppose one more figure is added. We added rectangle also. Okay, we have square, triangle, circle and rectangle. Now, can we use the same features? Now, number of sides if we are using, then the system will fail. For rectangle, it can give square, and for square, it can give rectangle. If we are checking the similarity of the sides, okay, see how the complexity increases. Okay, how the complexity increases. Yeah, two shapes with same sides and vertices. Yeah, there is misclassification then. So square and rectangle will misclassify. Then what we have to do? Now it becomes difficult. Then as the such type of if else rules are not useful, then you can go for machine learning algorithms further to avoid the misclassification. Okay, so are you drawing the scatter plots? Please draw it. I'll show the scatter plot here. Open source software we discussed in the morning. Python you can use, R you can use, C++ you can use for neural network. Yeah, Python you can use. Scatter plot I'll show you. This one, this scatter plot I have drawn using Excel. Later I'll share a video on this to draw. So what is on x-axis? Feature 1. See, we started you had probably those figures had the unit watt per hour, right? Megawatt per hour, because we are checking energy consumption, right? So every problem, whatever input, it is different. In my case, image processing, what is the input? The input is image with information. Suppose image is of 256 by 256. So those many pixels I'm having as information. And from that, I have to process it until I extract the features. And then I work from the features. So we completely transform from one domain to another domain when we are applying machine learning. And then after the transformation, then any problem is the same problem for a machine learning engineer, because he has to only work on numbers, not on what actually was the input. Was an image or was data in megawatt per hour or any other things, or some financial data or health data. Later it's just numbers. You have to play only with numbers, only with, if you are in MATLAB, matrices or anything, it is numbers. So you can see on x-axis it is feature 1, y-axis it is feature 2. So similarly, you can just a simple example what we saw, square, triangle and circle, scatter plot can be drawn. In this case, for the data we have drawn for feature 1, feature 2, the colors are used different for different classes. Okay. On the top you can see which color belongs to which class. One class. They write like this 0, 1, 2 or A, B, C. But we know what is class 0 now. Though it is not written, class 0 is low consumption, class 1 is medium, and class 2 is high consumption. Are you drawing or no? No one will take a nap in between, huh? Because you have taken food, there is a possibility that you will take a nap. I didn't take, so I am not going to take a nap. If the number of features are very high, will the number of axes also increase? Yes, that is what I told you. No, that's why we have taken a simple example with 2 features. As the number of features increase, the number of axes increases, that is, it becomes multi-dimensional. Now this is 2-dimensional feature space. For feature indicates feature space. If you take ML book now, all this literally starts bombarding on us. Nothing is understood. And as the number of features increases, the dimensions go on adding. Okay, it is drawn. Why not audible? Shalini? Is my voice audible? Please someone answer.
I guess it is audible to us, so it might be a problem at their end.
Okay, no problem, sir. Now let's go to computing. I believe that everyone is drawn. So how to do the solution? So what was the equation here? See, try to understand the equation. We have to find out the distance between the P, which is a new sample under test, and the input samples. And whatever is the minimum distance, you have to check. So how to find out the distance? There are many distance calculation approaches here. Approaches we know, but in this case, we are going to use the Euclidean distance. Okay, so this equation you can see is the Euclidean distance. The test sample which is given is P4,3. I hope you have written P4,3. So you have to find out the Euclidean distance between all 18 samples and the test point P. So let the distance between X and P be the Euclidean distance. Find the Euclidean distance between P and each sample of the database. Are you understanding this formula? When you are programming, you can use any programming technique, for loop, while loop, whatever. Now you have to do this on paper. Okay, Rashmi? Now you have to do on paper. You can use calculator. You can use Excel also if you want. So what was the first sample? X1, which was 1.8, 1.8. See the formula, X1 of 1 minus P of 1. And X1 of 2 minus P of 2. 1 and 2 here is, in the bracket is the feature. First feature and second feature. 1 sample number. Okay, subscript of X is the sample number. And whatever is in the bracket is feature, F1 and F2. Yeah, someone has come up with answer 2.5, correct. Calculate till 18. How to take P? P is given in the problem. Sujata ma'am, P is given. It is a testing database, no? So as I showed you in the demo, I picked up one new sample from the testing database and I tested it. For showing you, I am doing that. See, if it is my examination, or suppose anyone here is doing MTech here, or any other project, you cannot show offline. You have to ask the person, come on, write, I'll recognize and show. So this is how the project should be now. You have to apply real-time data and check if it is working for testing. So whenever my students did project under me, we always have shown real-time data, not offline. Offline will work anyhow. We will make it work by hook or crook, isn't it? Okay, distance, next distance is 1.8. 1.8. Okay, calculate all distances one by one and tell me the minimum distance. What we want to look for? Nearest neighbor. Whom you will call near? Tell me. Whom you will call nearest? Nearest neighbor. One who stays close to you. And who is close to you? One who is having less distance between your house and their house is the closest. Yes, so you have to find out the least value of D to find out the nearest neighbor. So tell me which is the least value of D, distance. Because we have to find out the nearest neighbor. Why to go for least distance? Because we want to find out the closest one. So here we are using physical distance, okay? Not emotional or mental. Emotional, mental distance and physical distance does not match. In this problem, we are finding Euclidean distance, okay? Not physical, Euclidean distance. How P is 4, 3? It is just given. You can take any other sample. 4, 3 is in the problem given already. We want to check that to which class this 4, 3, that is sample P, belongs to. Just as how I did, I applied one input and we saw that that number belongs to 0 or 9. See, because you already saw the number, you are knowing. Without seeing the number, it is not easy to. So suppose X is variable. X is in the equation, X and P are variables only, but in this problem, what is X? X is the sample in the database. X selection chart. You want X weight. This one. I want the least distance. Compute all distances. It is the exercise for brain. And see, I have also calculated. I have a sheet near me with all the answers. Okay, I have done this for you. Everywhere we have to take PS 4 and 3 only because we want to find out distance between P and every sample. And we want to then find out who is nearest to P, because we have to put that P into that class, low power, medium power or high power. We don't know what type of P it is, looking at its features. P is unknown. See, this is in the language of computer. If you're thinking from a human brain angle, human brain point of view, human brain behaves in a different manner, and we have to make the machine behave in the same manner. Yeah, 2.23 is correct, 2.16 is correct, 2.34 is correct, 1.96 is correct. Correct. You are going correctly. Go further. Naresh is doing nicely. X13, why X13 is written? X13 is nearest neighbor. Okay, according. Really? Not correct. Not correct. Please calculate. X2 is not nearest. Atul sir. Distance is correct. Yes. 2.23 is correct answer. Atul sir. Answer is correct. But that is not the nearest number. You have to calculate all till you get a nearest neighbor. And by guessing, you'll not understand. Suppose you're looking and guessing small numbers mean nearest. It is not like that because it is Euclidean distance. Correct. Aditya is the first person to get the correct answer. Very good. One more minute for others to solve further. So the questions are, which sample is the closest neighbor of P? Aditya has answered X9. X15 is not the closest neighbor. X11 is also not the closest because it is, if it is the answer then, wait, I'll check. X9, no, X11, no. X11 1.64 is correct answer, yes. Deepak, correct answer. X9.8 is not correct. 1.11 or 1.12 after rounding is the correct answer. Okay, 1.11 or 1.12 is the correct answer. What else? Any other answer is obtained? Okay, the conclusion is yes. The next question is, then P belongs to which class? Yes, correct. P belongs to medium power consumption class. Okay, so if you have an automated system and you are just giving all the data, giving the data from the societies, and finally at the output, you can have all that classification. In one sheet, you can have all low class, medium class, and high class. And then you can do the calculation and the planning can be done. Yes, at X9 you are getting minimum. Very good. So very nice. All of you took interest and calculated it. Good class. Okay, so let's go further. So you very nicely you understood now what is database, what is supervised learning. Beforehand we had that information that these samples belong to this class. If this is the data, then this is the class. If this is the data, then it is this class. If this is the data, it is this class. Initially, beforehand, we had that information, right? Before having the test sample. Then we had test sample. And then we calculated the Euclidean distance. And whichever was the minimum distance, that sample belonged to that class. That is called as classification. Because in classification, what we do, we find out to which class a particular sample belongs to. Okay, right? Then now we saw the nearest neighbor. Then we will see further k, okay, k nearest neighbor. Why it is used? Again, you have to do one more problem solving. Okay, I hope you will not get tired of solving. Same problem we are using, only the test number we are changing. So not very big thing. So in k nearest neighbor, what we are doing, we are using one more parameter k here. Okay, so here what k does, k number. Using k, we are not finding only one as we did in the previous case. We only found out who is the closest neighbor to you. We are going to find closest neighbors to you. Okay, k closest. Now, just of these k neighbors will be the actual right. Previous case it was okay, which will only number. Okay. Now which please 5 minimum numbers, because why 5? K we have chosen 5. Okay, k we have chosen 5 in this case. Now how to choose k, that also we will see, don't worry. With the right choice of k, we can improve our classification accuracy. Please all of you, what you have to do, using k is equal to 5, find out 5 minimum numbers, and in the chat box you can tell me that these 5 numbers belong to which class, or which are the samples with 5 minimum. Just as you said, x9 is the minimum, most minimum, x9 is the least, isn't it? What are the other 4? Give those samples. Don't think that I am verifying whether everyone has solved. It is required for KNN. Or everything is solved till last. Can you come up with the samples x's with least 5 minimum? One is x9, another is, just try, otherwise I'll help you, don't worry. I have the answers with me. Shweta, you are given 2, we want 5 numbers. Okay, Devendra has given, I'll check Devendra with me. X7 is there, correct. X9 is there, correct. X10, X12, X13, correct. Devendra has given correct answer. So these are the 5. Yes, further also X9, 13, 7, 12, 14. 14 is not minimum. Aditya, 14 is not minimum. See, Devendra has given correct answer. Naresh has also given correct answer. No, Naresh is not having X9 here. Acha, apart from X9, correct. 7, 10, 12, 13 and 9. Okay, let's freeze now. Now just see, within this, X7 belongs to 2, X9 belongs to class 2, X10 belongs to class 2, X12 and X13 belongs to class 3. So which class is majority, class 2 or class 3? Answer in chat box. Which class is majority? Yes, Naresh has written here, 12 and 13 are class 3. Majority is class 2, correct. So we have seen that in nearest neighbor as well as in k nearest neighbor, in both cases, the new sample belongs to class 2 only. But always this is not the case. This is not the case. Then what happens? take a new value of P, 5.2, 1.8. We have a lot of time. You can calculate. Once again, do the calculation. Both nearest neighbor and k nearest neighbor, k is equal to 5. I want the answer now, if both the answers are matching. Minimum distance.